Mhm. At the beginning of the year, Nezanele to my New Year's resolutions. But if there's something the Lord has taught me this year, it's that scripture which says, "Your plans are not my plans. Your thoughts are not my thoughts. Your ways are not my ways." Tell me how I had only three New Year's resolutions, but I accomplished none of them, but somehow ended up with a list of wonderful things that I did not plan but somehow received. If you're wondering how I got here, it's a terrible idea for me to start a story from the end, so I'm going to back up and start it all the way from the beginning, so stay tuned. Let's put together a fit for today's radio show. My name is Esther and I am a radio presenter. On Sundays, I co host the Jilla and Esther Mean Business, a radio program. And I know you're saying, okay, it's radio, why put together an outfit? The fits are for me, and I'm taking you along with me behind the scenes on today's radio program. For the bottoms, I'm going with a scot. A scot is basically a short that looks like a skirt. Get it? Short, skirt, scot. Here's the scot from the front, and here's the scot from the back. I know it's radio and nobody sees me, but being well put together is one of the ways in which you can build confidence. Generally, people will treat you the way that you treat yourself. If you're not receiving respect from others, check the standards that you have set for yourself. For the shirt, I have two options: cream or chocolate. But I want to lean more towards like a monochromatic theme. I love brown and I'm constantly wearing like monochrome around the shades of brown. So I think I'm going to go with chocolate. Highlighting my waist by adding a belt. For accessories, I'm keeping it simple with some plain studs and a pretty bow for my hair because I'm just a girly girl. Here is my bow. I'm going with this black handbag. I recently rewarded myself for doing some consultancy work. I usually like to match my leathers, so most times my belt, my handbag, and my shoes match. But this time I'm only matching my handbag and my belt. For shoes, I'm keeping my standards and my heels high. Wearing my specs so I can see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Clock it. This is the final look. Let's head over to the radio station. Back to the New Year's resolutions I didn't accomplish. Beyond writing New Year's resolutions, I'm learning to pray to be in alignment with God's plans because He says He already has a plan for us. I'm also learning to work the weight. Many a time we write down a goal, like a wish list, and do nothing about it. If you put no plans behind it, it is not a goal, it is simply a wish list. I'm learning to live in the moment, to use my gifts, and to have fun while I'm at it. We live our lives in limbo, waiting for something to happen to give us permission to have fun. But life is what happens while you're waiting for something outside of yourself to give you the permission to live. I'm learning to make time for adulthood, but also plan to allow my inner child to rest. By being in the company of good friends, learning to forgive myself and relax, and pouring into experiences that pour back into me. Remembering that things may not happen exactly as planned, but that doesn't mean that they were not beautiful.